you say
justice.
If I say justice, you say
Climate.
If I say justice, you say
Climate.
Climate.
Justice.
Climate.
Justice.
Climate.
Justice.
Climate.
Justice.
Climate. Climate. Climate.
Justice. Justice. Justice.
Okay, one last one. Black lives who? You say Black Lives Matter. Black lives who?
Black Lives Matter!
I can't hear you. Black lives who?
Black Lives Matter!
Black lives who?
Black Lives Matter!
Black lives who?
Black Lives Matter!
Thank you. I'll see if my phone will cooperate for a speech. Climate justice is the greatest threat to human rights in the 21st century. The struggle is real. And I cannot emphasize enough how much we appreciate your efforts. The former Irish Prime Minister Mary Robinson said, climate justice is this decade's lunch counter moment. Lunch counter moment, you know, maybe I need to elaborate. Martin Luther King, people being beaten because black people wanted to sit in the same restaurants as. So that it was a great thing she said on your behalf. I don't completely agree, as I believe the lunch counter has moved to the Mexican-US border and to the Mediterranean. But nevertheless, I was moved to tears at this analogy because it powerfully connects all our struggles. As the climate catastrophe unfolds upon us, it will be blind. It is blind. This catastrophe, it is blind. It is colorblind. It respects no national boundaries. As with the sinking of the Titanic, no matter which floor you were on and how rich you were at risk of drowning in the sea. We are all in this together. And yet, there is still a tangible difference on this point. Climate change has meant, in the 33 years I've been in Denmark, now there are homes nearly every year who come underwater. All the sellers, and you see them on the news, and people lost their precious belongings. But what is the difference? There's an insurance, there's a government who take care of it. And they're actually even going to buy people's property so they can move away from the places which are repeatedly struggling with this. Recently, the pollution that we create here in the West created a cyclone. It created global warming on the sea, so there was a massive cyclone which hit Mozambique, it hit Zimbabwe, and both countries, major parts of them, came underwater. There was no insurance. There was no government who came to cover the costs. There wasn't even Falk who came by and took the injured. Livelihoods have been damaged for years and years to come. The poor, they have been left even more impoverished. A third of Malawi was flooded. In January 2015, 300 people dead, more than 100,000 injured. Let's put perspective into this kind of thing. A citizen in Malawi uses 80 kilos, emits 80 kilos a year of CO2. I hope I got it right with you experts that are here. In a Western citizen like you and me, we emit 7 metric tons a year. 80 kilo compared to 17 metric tons. But they are the ones whose houses are underwater. Kiribati is an island which has bought land in Fiji, and they call this profit dignified refugee system, because this island is slowly sinking underwater, and the country's leadership are trying to find a solution for this. Connie Okolet from Uganda, a climate activist, has spoken about long periods of drought followed by flooding the following year. It has become a norm in the Horn of Africa. When she was a child, they sowed and they harvested year after year in a predictable fashion. Things have changed. Constance Okolet is not responsible. Constance Okolet does not drive a car. Constance Okolet does not fly off on holiday. It looks to me that it is the very same category, actually, of power-grabbing psychopaths who hate the fight against racism, misogyny, and deny climate change, and coin terms such as klimatosser and shithole countries. They're the very, very, very same people who are denying so many people around the globe and in different parts of the world of their rights. The very same people who will have access to a lifeboat on the Titanic, and while the rest of the people will drown. Now, these very countries' neo-colonialism systems, it leaves populations of people behind whose very lives, lands, and resources we already devastate for profit. We need to stop the use of chemicals and CO2 depleting agencies in the global south. These countries serve as the factories of the West. We need to stop the deforestation of developing countries, completely depleting huge areas of the lungs of the earth. We need to stop silencing and ignoring climate justice campaigners from the global south and majority speaker and global south and global majority who speak at climate conferences and share their knowledge and their experience with the West. We need to stop ignoring and denying scientific facts. We need to stop warmongering for profit and start climate, peace, and justice instead. We need to stop limiting goals of CO2 emission to the West while resources are being mined in the global south. And while the West production factories have moved to pollute the air and the water in the global south. Stop putting people in power who complain about refugees but are actually creating the very foundation of the most massive climate migration potential in all of history. We must stand together. Black, white, brown, men, women, non-binary, intellectuals, unskilled workers, manual workers, shoulder to shoulder, side by side. Let us fight for climate justice and the survival of humanity. If you say climate, if I say climate, you say justice. If I say climate, you say justice. If I say climate, you say
Justice.
Climate, justice. Climate,
Justice.
Climate,
Justice.
Climate,
Justice.
This pollution.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Shut it down. This pollution.
Shut it down.
This pollution.
Shut it down.
This global warming.
Shut it down.
This global on 2nd of September when Trump comes to Denmark. He probably won't see us, but it will be an opportunity for us to stand together across our struggles and show that we can work together and to scare the other side of climate deniers and racists and fascists and everything else. Thank you. So see you.